Are you ready to get the hydrofacial glow? Loved in 87 countries across the world. It's not a facial, it's a hydrofacial. Now available across the UK. Visit hydrofacial.co.uk to find your nearest location.
In Corrie, I was the midwife that delivered every ill baby for quite a few years.
Of course.
Every time I walked into the green room, they go, "Oh no, the baby's not looking too good."
Hello.
Darlings, I am in a chocolate coma. How are you?
Oh, I'm Mr. Blobby.
I like hot cross buns, actually.
Do you?
Well, I
I
know
like
that.
hot cross buns. I like
Yes,
hot
you've heard.
cross buns with cheese.
Oh, I've never had it
Oh.
with cheese.
Yeah, savoury and
Sounds
sweet.
sweet.
It changes your whole life.
What's
But
amazing
what
about
did
chocolate?
change my whole life, Sherry, is what you recommended, which I
Yes.
now am addicted to, which is so awful. I can't believe you did it to me. Are those wraps, vegan duck wraps from Marks and Spencer's?
Aren't they
Oh.
amazing?
Oh. Oh.
I know. I mean, they are very big, though, aren't they? That's the only, because there's two of them in it. That's the
Yes,
only
but
thing.
that means I just have to have both of
Have
them.
more,
doesn't it?
I know. Well, hot cross
talking
buns
about-
with cheese,
Just talking
Debbie.
about hot cross buns,
Yeah.
can you believe all the different flavours, and they've been out since Christmas, let's be honest, all the different, we don't have hot cross buns anymore, they're all flavoured with cranberry, or they're, you know,
Oh, no.
fruity things, or salted
No.
caramel,
I
or
love that.
Marmite, or
I love cinnamon ones.
No, cinnamon, I get.
Yes,
Because cinnamon and cheese go well together.
yes,
they do, you know.
Do you
Yeah.
still have raisins in the ones with cheese?
Yes.
yeah.
Really?
Yes.
And do you know in
Yes.
Scotland they have marmalade with their fry up? Do you know that? You know, toast and marmalade with their fry up?
When I was
Oh.
at school, when I was at boarding school, I used to have toast and Marmite, and the best thing on top of that was apricot jam.
Oh,
Oh,
lovely.
Yeah,
Lovely.
Not with Marmite though.
Yeah, with Marmite. With
oh
Marmite.
no.
Yeah.
It's a savoury.
Weirdos.
When I was pregnant with Talia, I
Yeah.
used to like eating. I used to eat Frosties and roll mop herrings together.
All right, that's enough.
I used to
now.
have,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, I
One
used to
big
have,
one.
I used to have tins of tomatoes with heated up tin tomatoes and sprinkle it with some cheese, and I just used to eat that endlessly.
That's great. That's good.
What did
Yeah.
you used to have, Sherry, when you were pregnant?
When I was pregnant, I had a terrible addiction to a mashed potato and gravy. I had to eat it all the time, and then I had these terrible nightmares of this mashed potato and gravy chasing me down the road and trying to catch me. And I had to run away. I had to keep running away, and yet the next day I would eat it again. Weird.
No,
What did you have?
I think I must be pregnant actually because I adore mashed potato and gravy.
Me too.
So I must
Still
be
do.
pregnant.
But did
I'm
you
gonna
have an
have a-
addiction when you were pregnant to certain foods?
Did I have an addiction? Yes, I did. What was it to? It was to
Gin.
chocolate. So Brazil nuts covered in chocolate.
Okay.
And I used to eat loads of them. Yeah.
I also remember I had a strawberry mivvy. Do you remember those?
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Strawberry mivvies when I was pregnant as well.
Oh, I used to love the orange middies. Do they
Yeah.
still make them?
Do they not do those anymore?
Well, probably they're not glamorous enough anymore, but
No,
they
they're
might.
called-
they probably
oh,
don't
I know the
call
orange ones are
something
called
else.
Soleros now, which are quite similar.
I love Soleros.
Do
Yeah.
you?
The other addiction I had was to avocado. I used to eat 5, 6 a day, and Keely came out with the most beautiful skin. Whenever
I thought you were
get
going to say she came out green.
Okay, please bring in a guest, somebody.
So we have a fabulous guest today. Oh, I just love this girl. Sue Vincent is her name. She's been in everything. I think she's been in most soaps, but I'll have to ask her. I think the only one she hasn't been in is Emmerdale. But of course, now she is a writer of Madame Blanc and so many other things, and she's just fabulous. Come in, Sue.
Yay!
Hey!
Hello,
Hello,
I just
Welcome.
said, Sue, that you've been in everything. And I've said you did most of the soaps, but now I think about it, I don't think you did Emmerdale, did you?
I've not. It's the. I think I've done EastEnders. In Corrie, I was the midwife that delivered every ill baby for quite a few years.
Of course.
Every time I walked into the green room, they go, "Oh no, the baby's not looking too good." But yeah, I've done them all except for Emmerdale. Been up for it a few times. As a yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, clearly, I'd love to write.
And I just want to say, Madame Blanc was truly amazing. And I do hope it goes again. But you always have to remember, I'm supposed to be Sally Lindsay's mother. Not insane mother. So I
post it on the wall.
That down if ever it went together. So tell us now, what have you been doing now?
Well, we've lots of writing. I've got lots of things I can't tell you about, but they're all really exciting. She said with this straight face. But I've just done a short film, and by a brilliant woman called Jo Smythe. She's written and directed it, and it's called Smile. And and it's my first lead. And when we're told to, all right, love, give us a smile. That, and it's about that. Right.
Oh.
So, and it's fascinating because I was up in Manchester going to film it in Cardiff on the Wednesday, and on the Tuesday I was in Manchester, and I was in this makeup truck for a makeup test, and this young girl got on and she went, "Oh, does that bloke out there keep asking me to smile?" And I was like, "You're joking." Unbelievable. So this short film is about Sue. She's called Sue. She works in a garden centre, and she gets sexually assaulted by a man, but in a way where, all of us, every single woman has had some sort of thing of like a brush of a breast or a squeeze, and you go, was that an assault? I'm not sure. And the answer to that is, yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
Absolutely was.
Yeah.
And when I was auditioning for the role, I talked to the director, and she said to me, has it ever happened to you? And I threw my mind back and I said, many years ago when I was at this mod club, I thought I was a mod in the 1990s. Do you know what I mean? I just look like my gran, to be fair. And I was in this club, and I had this really short mini dress on, going to the toilet, and this guy just, and I had leggings on, stuck his hand up my skirt, went, whoa, nice heart, and carried on. And when I got to the toilets, I had this real sense of like, was that my fault? I shouldn't wear these shit. That. And again, the answer to that is, of course it's not your fault. Wear what you want, and they shouldn't touch. And that's what this film is about.
Wow.
And Sue has this amazing journey, the character Sue, where let's just say, without giving anything away, all of you will stand up and cheer.
Oh, we are already.
Yeah. And it's called Smile by Jo Smythe. She's doing a crowdfunding thing for it at the moment because she's funding it all herself. But when the script arrived, my agent sent it to me, and she was like, look, they really want you to do it. My first word when I sent back was wow, because it's something, in the light of Me Too and there are a lot of changes. Talking to a few of the youngsters on set, I think the younger generation are very much more aware of going, oi, don't do that. Yeah. And there were adverts coming on the telly going, don't catcall women, don't do it anymore. But there are still blurred lines, and the lines shouldn't be blurred. It's like, no. And she does have this great line, Jo won't mind me giving this away, where this goes, give us a smile soon. She says, I'm leaving the language out. Why are you asking me to smile? Do you ask him to smile, or him? Stop asking me to smile like I'm a performing monkey. That. It's like, why should we?
It's so amazing because we will all identify, and certainly women nowadays have a voice. Before, you just dodged it, or as you said, thought it was your fault, or never mentioned it, and just got on with it. And it's so brilliant that there's something like that to actually have that voice now.
There's a lovely response from one of the guys who goes, "Oh, all right, love, calm down." Now, a strong women, we've all had that, haven't we? All right, love, calm down. You what? It's sort of like makes shit, it's such a passive aggressive, that thing of, all right, love, calm down. When somebody, and she has a brilliant response to this. She really does, in fantasy and in reality.
Or they laugh at you as well. They laugh at you. Yeah. Because I had that on a set actually, and somebody came up to me and very, very aggressive, and I complained, and they all went, "Oh, ignore it." I mean, that's what's so awful, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just the way he is. Oh, he's just being
I've asked my daughters, my eldest daughter is 34 and my youngest is 28, and I've asked them if they've ever experienced these things, and they said no.
I think it's because, and it's the same when Joe and me were chatting, I didn't define the hand up the short skirt as a sexual assault. I didn't define it like that. And it's only when you think and you go, oh gosh, yeah, actually, because we just dismiss it. We just dismiss it as women. And I think it's, you know, I think if you press them hard and went, yeah, but come on, at some point somebody slid across the side of you or done something that makes you go, get off. Joe, the director, was inspired to make the film because she was at a water cooler, working. She's an editor, fantastic editor, and this guy came up behind her. She was about to take a piece of cake, and he put his hand round her, put his hand on her tummy, and went, "Oh, you don't want to be eating that," and patted her tummy.
Oh, what?
Wow. Now I don't know about you. That's the most. I mean, in fantasy, you gotta break his arm.
But in reality,
about the film.
But Sue, yeah, I come from the 70s, so you know I was around when the 70s, and so I was around those people, and you know, and it never occurred to me to say anything. I mean, I've had, you know, I've been on a set where somebody's just put his hand on my thigh and gone, great legs. And it never, but because of fear, because of didn't know, because you thought, oh, people are going to think I'm stupid, you know. And it, thank God that's changed.
Well, in the 80s, I used to do loads and loads of sitcoms, 80s and 90s. And the camera crew, and I'm sure Harriet probably had this too, and I don't know, perhaps you did, but they used to line the shots up on my tits. I used to look up, and all the monitors in the studio were on my boobs, always.
Seriously?
Seriously. And
it's weird, isn't it, now?
Yeah,
it's only when you pull it out, isn't it? It's only when you go, stop that, stop it.
Yeah.
I mean, every single monitor in the studio, and I used to think, what's always with boobs?
It's so appalling. But you know, as we said, thank God, things like this new film, Smile, is going to make a difference.
Yeah.
For everyone. But Sue, you and I had an amazing time because we shared a house together.
Do you know what, Harriet? I'm going to say a big public thank you.
Oh, okay.
That Harriet.
Yes, dear.
I was coming to, I got divorced after 25 years, which was quite the journey. And it would be my first Christmas without, not necessarily my ex, but his family. You divorce the family, and his family are beautiful, you know. And I didn't know what to do with myself. I was like, I was like, oh, what do I do? And Harriet was in the cottage, and she went, well, and I've been to the doctors to see if I needed antidepressants because I felt so low. And I got back in the cottage, Harriet said, why don't you come on the walk? The midnight walk.
The moon walk.
Yeah. And I went, oh. She went, that way you could train for it. And it totally saved me. It totally saved me. I did end up leaving my knickers in the bin at the National Theatre.
Well, we've all done that.
We've all
done that.
But again, it's that refocusing, isn't it? Because we've all been divorced, and it is that thing when you suddenly feel your sort of reflection of who you think you are, who you hoped you would be, is dismissed for whatever reason. And it's rebooting yourself and doing something like the Moonwalk, which is a charity for breast cancer, and to share the laughs and share the training. And it just refocuses and reboots you, gives you time to get out there and do something. And
it completely saved me. All the training, and the experience itself. I just absolutely thank you, Harriet, because it really had. And also, sort of when I was staying, my beautiful writing partner and dearest friend Sally Lindsay, she really helped me sort of like, come on, focus. And that cottage where I stayed, I hardly went out for 3 years. I'd written for theatre for years, but I stayed in and I just got match fit, you know, in the cottage. But because I had the energy to do it, because I'd write, I'd walk, I'd write, I'd walk. And that was because when you get divorced, you lose your sense of purpose in the world, especially if you've happily chosen not to have children. It's like, what do I do? And you know, things that happened to us in mid-years, our mums get ill and that was going on. It's like, what do? I don't know what to do anymore. It was profound. So thanks, Harriet.
It's a pleasure, darling.
It's what you said just now, and I've never heard anybody say it so eloquently, is about divorcing a family, because I miss my ex-husband's family an awful lot, because we had such fun together and we did such a lot together. I don't miss him, but I miss his family.
Oh my God. My in-laws, I mean, my ex-father-in-law, who sadly passed last year, he was my dad for as long as my dad, because I lost my dad in his early 50s. So Dave was my dad for 30 years, 28 years. And he was just gorgeous. And me and his mum didn't have a crossword in all that time, and his sisters, and it was, and you can't, especially when you've not got children, you've got no legacy to keep you together. There's no reason to see each other anymore. And still now his family, they all watch the show and we keep in touch, and it's all lovely with his family. Weirdly, girls, the film that I wasn't going to talk about this publicly, but I'm going to. We filmed in Cardiff for the short film, and I'd not been back to Cardiff. His family from Cardiff. I'd not been back to Cardiff for 7 years, and in the week that I was in Cardiff filming, his family were in London because he was getting remarried, which is fine because it took the pressure off going to visit anyone.
Yeah.
But every location had an emotional connection.
Oh no.
Oh my. And the director kept saying, God, Sue, the tears just come. Yeah, because I'm sorting something out I didn't realise was still there, you know what I mean?
And I'm a great actor.
It is a grief when you get divorced. It is a grief. And I don't think people understand that even if it's your decision to get divorced, it's still as painful, whatever it is.
It is, more so.
You really never imagine you're going to do it. You always imagine you're going to have, because we've always been told, you meet someone, you fall in love, you get married and live happily ever after.
Yeah.
And the reality is that when you don't, the whole of your sort of subliminal thoughts of what it's supposed to be are destroyed. And as you said, who am I then without this idea of perfection?
I think I'd had this fantasy of ours, that Doris Day song, The Old Couple That Live on the Hill. Because we married so young, we married at drama school, and we were blissful in our early years, but it changed. We just grew apart. That's what happened. But recognizing that, and it was interesting because I didn't end it because I was always trying to save it, and that's something we do as women, isn't it? Try and save. We try and make better. And the minute you realize, leave them to it, love. It's like, I'll do that then. You
reclaim your life. You reclaim your life.
Exactly.
You do. Well, and part of terrible thing.
Reclamation, when you reclaimed your life, was that when you started writing? When did you get into writing, Sue? I'm really interested.
So my first play I wrote was at the Hen and Chickens in 1999, and I'd always written for theatre, always written for other people, comedy, and just been like this secret thing under the radar of recognition for a long time, writing wise. And I was writing for the Soho Theatre Comedy Project for a while as well, for about 4 years with them. And then when things started to go a bit iffy personally, and my mum died of lung cancer, that started to happen. I literally put everything in a drawer. Because I didn't have the time, because you need to be focused. Long story short, like I said earlier, I was writing in the cottage a lot. When me and Sally got together, it was literally like, oh my gosh, it's very rare you can find somebody to write with like we write. It's genuinely magic. Madame Blanc was Sally's creation, and she came to me with this amazing treatment of a world, and she went, do you reckon we can write this? And we literally, we've written together now for about 8 years, so we have a hidden language. But because I've got no children, and because I've just got me, I've got the time, because the time to digest and absorb and write, and it's a big process. When we were doing the first recce in Malta in March 2020, and we're both doing notes in this restaurant, the waiter came over and he went, ladies, there is no toilet roll in the UK, please take these. Gave me a box of napkins. I was like, what? So me and Sal came back to the zombie apocalypse, and it was like, what? And I came here and I sat on my sofa. I thought, gosh, what do I do? Mum had passed the year before, and I was like, what do I do? And I had this overwhelming feeling of everything I've ever wanted. So I sat and I wrote every single day. I've written every single day since. I planted seed after seed after seed, a sentence or 20 pages some days. It was like, oh my God, I can get it out. Because my late mum used to say to me, when she watched Mount Pleasant, she used to go, I know that's me, you know. It was. she used to say, don't you write any of my stories till I'm gone. All right. But I do
well, know. At least she gave you carte blanche to do that when she was gone.
That's she good. Did, yeah. She did.
Great.
All the stuff you go through with divorce and the reclaiming of yourself, that has definitely fueled my emotional recall to be able to write like we do. And also Sally's idea about Madame Blanc was a friend of hers brings back stuff from France, antiques and stuff, and also she was on a job in Doncaster, I think it was, and it was raining. She was like, we've got to do something about this kid. So she invented this world, but I've always collected stuff. And when I had this huge collection of 1960s stuff when I got divorced that I had to sell every single piece of to get on my feet again. And it was quite funny actually, because every time a charity shop person or somebody off eBay came to collect something, they'd answer the door and I'd be like, because everything had a memory in it, you know, everything had a memory. It was so painful. And at the end of the 9 months of selling it all off, this guy, the charity shop guy, arrived for another bag and he went, you've cheered up. So I have no idea what you're talking about. So now it's like, and during lockdown, you know, with Madame Blanc, I mean, it was to sit in this room now, my lounge, and know that this. I remember Lisa Tarbuck's a very good mate of mine, and we locked down together virtually. We do this every morning, and one day I said, Sal sent me this amazing treatment. I said, I'm just going to write it. She went, well, yeah. I said, I can just feel it. I can just feel it when it's in me. It's a really interesting place. And I sent Sally the first, I think it was 20 pages in about a day. She was on holiday, and she rang up crying, just going, oh my God. We've nailed the world. We've nailed the world.
You did. You have. And have you noticed the hat, darling?
I love the hat. Is that pretty bold to love?
I'm hoping you're just going to give me. I don't mind if it's an extra sitting in the cafe.
More than an extra.
That's what I thought would inspire you to do. And I love my own fare and everything, and my food. You don't have to pay for anything. I just want to sit there, Madame Blanc. I want to sit in the background, sipping my coffee.
Just for clarity, none of us will do that. We want to be centre front.
No. Yes. I just mentioned it anyway. Yeah. We've mentioned it. I throw that into the mix. You know? Anyway,
I kid you not, Malta was, because we went there in lockdown as well. You know, it was the paperwork we had to take was like this to travel. The airports were empty. You know. We got to, and Sally having to come away from her children for X amount of time. We didn't know if they could come over, and they couldn't come over in the end. So it was fraught with worry. But we got to this hotel, and it was like The Shining, just me and Sally in it. These beautiful suites with a wall in between us, little walls, so we could write virtually because we had to quarantine for 2 weeks.
Sally was on the show. She was actually doing our show. Oh, she said that you were next door from the suite.
We ran through and just went, oh, thank God, because we can chat then, you know. When Robin Asquith first came to see us in the hotel, it was just a dream. And again, going back to what we were talking about earlier, he's a man from that era. He's a man, you know, who did those films. But the difference is, he knows the difference now. He knows the difference. He looks back himself and goes, crikey, you know, you wouldn't want to do that now. Not the phrase get away with it. It's not that. It's like, I wouldn't do that now. Yeah. So learning, you know, and our Bob was like that, wasn't he, Sherry? Sort of like,
I was just thinking of Bob when we were together. And I was thinking, isn't it funny how, I don't know about you, but it changed me when Bob went. You know, and I miss him every day. I speak to Yvonne, but Bobby Ball, we're talking about, everybody.
Yes.
But I was just thinking when you were talking, it's funny, isn't it, when people leave your lives, because you were with him for such a long time, weren't you?
Yeah.
In Mount Pleasant.
Bob was like, I mean, he played Sal's dad in Mount Pleasant, but he really was like a dad to us. I remember coming out of my dressing room one day and it had just all gone bang in my life. And he went, "Is that Sue?" And I turned around and he went, "What's wrong with your eyes?" And I went, "Wait, is your heart breaking?" And he saw it in my eyes. And I went, "Yeah." And he went, "Right, come here." And him and Yvonne, is beautiful Yvonne Ball, took me under their wing. And then when Mum was really ill, we used to, because she wasn't fit to travel very many places, used to take her up to Lytham and we'd have weekends there. And as you know, Bob would out party everyone. So my mum was like, "This is brilliant." It was they gave her, they treated her like a queen. He was such a lovely man. And like sometimes on set, Sal was just so wonderful with him, because he'd go, "You remember this, don't you, Sal? Back in she go, I was born in 1972. No, I don't, Bob. You know, of course I don't." But yeah, but again, you could say not anymore. And it's knowing the difference of behaviour coming from a time when.
I mean, I talked to him at length many times about that period. Because we all knew the same people, you know, and we were all connected to the same. And he said, when I look back, he said, I didn't think it was wrong though. He said, but now I look back and I think, oh, I see. I didn't mean anything by it. You know, I didn't mean any. And I said, no, I know, but and he said, but I can see now, which is what this is all about.
Yeah, I think the thing is as well, that because we were all sort of brought up in that kind of era. And I think what happened, which I've really learned from the Me Too thing, is that so many young actresses just disappeared because they couldn't take it. Whereas we were stronger and we could. Yeah. And I think, you know, because I had an experience with Michael Winner where, you know, he was terrible. And I put it on Facebook and I didn't name him. And I got about 60 replies from friends of mine who are actually exactly the same experience, and no one ever spoke about it.
Really?
No one did then.
Yeah, too. I was overtaking my agent at one point, and she went, "Oh, darling, don't be silly. Just, you know, ignore it." And
I get on with it.
Yeah, get on with it.
I think that's an important change as well. If women believing and championing and supporting other women.
Yeah.
During lockdown, what I've worked for about 4 years with North London Women's Refuges, and I used to go in and do a coffee morning with them once a month, and I did these workshops about finding your voice, so because it's the one thing they could have control over. And these women have had to flee. You know, they've had half an hour to get out with the kids, and then they move to the other side of the country. Horrific. But my job was to just. Ivy, the lady who runs, she's so funny. She went, "I just want you to cheer them up with your Sue shine." I was like, "It's a tough gig, this, love. Come on." Anyway, so we used to do these coffee mornings, and they'd all just sit and look at me. And eventually, we got into the swing of it. The lockdown happened, and I was really concerned because the women weren't just locked down; they were locked in.
Yeah.
You know, so we got funding. And they all used to come up on a screen, about 30 of them on a Thursday morning. And I'd use the word meditation, but it was a relaxation just to get them to sit still for a while because the anxiety was so high.
Yeah.
And I said, "Right, girls," the first time I did it, I went, "Right, girls, I don't know what to do because the world's gone weird." I said, "So there's only one thing you can do when that happens. Let's have a disco dance." So we just all have a dance. They'd all get up. And at first they're all like, "What?"
Brilliant.
And then but you know what the hard thing was? Finding songs, because I used to put very careful attention to detail in it that weren't about the reliance of men. Really interesting. It's got to be empowerment. You know, I taught them I Am Woman by Helen Reddy was our theme. And we used to put it on and I'd hold the words up like that in 4 different languages. And they'd all sing the words and learn the words. And that, the way they all looked after each other, we had one lady come in one week and she was very young, had 2 young children, and no money. They arrived in their 90s and slippers, and Ivy rings and says, how can you help? So they sort out the benefits and everything for them, but immediate day help. She went, she needs some shopping. So, but she wants her own ingredients for her own culture. So I Googled them, went to Aldi, filled up a trolley, took them back to the refuge. And do you know what she did? She cooked a meal for the whole house.
Oh my God.
And that was like, when you've got nothing and you're willing to share, women champion other women.
Unbelievable.
Stronger.
But again, it has changed now, because I was one of those women, but I came from a different period, you know, and we didn't get any help. They just used to say, get on with it. Stop being ridiculous. Stop being pathetic. Get on with it. Yeah. Fortunately, I didn't have children with me at the time, but I was, and so I watched that very carefully, because I know what that is. I know what that pain is. And I just think, thank God there's people like you and everybody out there that champion those women and go, come on, get up, get on with it. We can get out of this situation. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
I always say to them, you reward me as much as I help you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
During lockdown especially, it gave me such a sense of I thrived, because you look at these women locked down and locked in, and you go, what would you do? What would you do? And they even thrive. Yeah. But, you know, because, you know, the stats are really quite heartbreaking in that a lot of them go back to their various situation because it's what they know.
Of course.
But you get
I remember years ago talking to Erin Lizzie, who had those wonderful refuges all over London. I think she started in Chiswick. I think she was the first one. And I said the same to her. Why do she didn't have to do this, you know. What was it? I was fascinated. And she said, because they give so much back to me. Exactly what you said.
Yeah, so it's, you know, if you're an altruist as well, it really is the only thing you can do. It's just that's it, isn't it?
It is.
Otherwise, what's the point? We don't help each other. What are we doing?
See here, all these women, I used to teach them Maya Angelou poetry as well.
Oh,
so,
wow.
You know, they just loved it.
Sue, will you come back, please? Because we haven't had enough of you. We need more. There's so much more to say.
What are you doing next, Sue?
What am I doing next? Oh, I can't tell you.
Tell us.
But when
it is my poker face. It is my poker face.
Listen, when you come back and tell us when you can tell us.
Yeah, I would love to, girls. I would love to.
Thank you so much.
All right. Brilliant. Lots of love. Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you. Bye, darling.
Bye.
Oh, what an inspiration. She is amazing.
She is.
And it makes
you feel, you know, that you should do more. You know, it makes you feel that.
Can I give you a little something that I did that I didn't actually realise how much it would affect me? So, you know, I have these Surrey singletons. I started this singletons for people just to meet. Anyway, on Nextdoor or one of the sites, there was a guy who just wrote like a little essay, and he wrote, you know, at 28, I had a stroke. I've been like this for 15 years, and I'm really, you know, would anyone like to just come and have a cup of coffee with me or a glass of red wine? And I thought, oh my God, that's terrible. Anyway, so I wrote to him and said, come to our event. And he said, no, thanks. He said, I don't want to go to a singletons event. He said, I feel an idiot. People are only going to talk to me because they feel sorry for the guy in the wheelchair. And I said, that's not the way it'll be, and it won't happen. So anyway, we had our event last week or the week before. I can't remember when it was. And I got someone to go and collect him. He's got his own van. He came. He had the best evening. He really was. He had his wheelchair with the lights on. He was zooming around the tables. But it was the email that he wrote me the next day that made me cry. He just went, Debbie, it was a triumph. Thank you.
A triumph. Oh, Debbie, well done on that.
And I was thinking, if the whole thing was only formed to get, he said, it's given me the kick up the arse that I needed to get myself out there again.
And that's the thing. That's what you need. All the things that we do, charity-wise.
That's wonderful,
all
darling.
the people we work with, because actually, what else are we doing if we're not giving back somehow? And that's
absolutely.
Do everything.
Get out there, do something.
Yes, absolutely right.
Quite right. But we've got to get Sue back. That's for sure.
Yeah, we do.
Of course. So, see you next time, girls.
Yeah.
Bye.